Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Wahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Aki, in pushing this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Amathia from Great Millstone, Dallas. And I want to go into this video that I have pulled up here. And this is from this lady that does good videos. It came out a couple of days ago, and her page is like a homestead journey, and it says America's collapse is forcing people into RVs, vans, and parking lots. All right. And this video is showing how America is on a moral decline. All right. Now, when you go into America and see where that in the end of this American empire, America is right at 249 years old. America came in around that time. 249 years is this year. And an empire usually lasts, the average time frame is 250 years. So we are right here at the cusp of where an average decline of a country or an empire is the time frame. We're here. All right. So now we're seeing the downfall of America and this collapse that is happening, and it's right on time. You know, call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right. America was established. It was the around 1783. It was like the Treaty of Paris. Okay. That basically was a treaty that was signed that ultimately caused a cease or end to the American Revolutionary War. So they came out of the hands of the British, okay, and that's when the 13 colonies was set up and things like that. Thus, come forth these the U.S. of A. that we see today. Okay, so now we're seeing the downfall of the end of this place here in America, aka Babylon the Great, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And it's the decadence, all right? And like I say, the morale of this place, we're seeing the downfall of it. And there are 6 stages to downfall, or 6 stages that defines an empire, all right? You have the age of pioneer. You have the age of conquest, okay? You have the age of commerce. You have the age of affluence, where basically the state of having money and wealth. Then you have the 5th, which is the age of intellect. Okay. Now that 6th stage goes into the age of decadence. Okay. And the age of decadence is what we're seeing today. Okay. And I want to get a quick precept, and then we'll go into this. You know, I've been talking for a few minutes, and let me grab a precept here, and then we'll get right into this video. Okay. Let me see here. This is Jeremiah. If I can pull it up. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Okay? And the nations have drunk of the wine of Babylon the Great. And now, this world has received all these things that has been brought to you by democracy and different things like that. All right? And now you're seeing a spiritual corruption. All right, like I say, that spread worldwide. Now many are connecting America and the small has, okay? The small has to what? A global decay, okay? And America has spread throughout the world. Why? Through due to their democracy, things like that. Okay, but now we're seeing that power is being pulled away because we're getting seeing the downfall. You know, you got the BRICS that are getting stronger, which we know the power of the dollar is I mean, everything's all the monies are paid to the dollar because what is the petrodollar. But now we're seeing that transition. See the what is that, the actual debt? All right, you're in trillions of dollars in debt, so there's no way to get out of that. So they're looking to do a transition, okay, to do away with the dollar in due time, and we see that. All right, but the people are not. You're gonna feel the sting of this, okay? Because Babylon has been a golden cup, okay? Verse 8, Babylon is fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, be she may be healed, okay? I'm going to read verse 9 too. It says, we will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one to his own country, for the judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay? And the judgment has reached up to heaven. And now they're trying to do the great reset. But the people are going to feel this. This is happening right now. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Okay? And it's going to show you about the decline of Babylon, and how people are having to change their lives just to cope or deal with their earnings, what they're making, you know, to get through life. All right.
And rent are outpacing wages in nearly every city.
You know, I had like an 1,800 square foot house, 4 bedrooms, 4 acres of property. It was like, what can I fit in a 22-foot trailer?
A growing number of Americans are calling RV parks like this one I'm at near Chattanooga, Tennessee, home because of soaring housing costs since the pandemic.
There's a stigma of RV parks, trailer parks being trashy, you know, where trashy people live. When they're not, you know, they're not all like that.
Renting a space here at an RV park can be around $400 to $500 a month, while rents in the area are up to $1,200, $1,500 a month for even just a 1-bedroom apartment.
This is it. I mean,
for people who are on a fixed income, for people who have hourly jobs, or just making the median area income, that's become unaffordable, causing some people to have to turn to RVs.
It's like, what's important? What do you want to be spending your time on at work and paying bills? And so far, I have been happy for the changes. I've been, you know, I mean, there's times when it's like I miss my horses and I miss my house and my garden and all the stuff I had to get rid of. I hardly miss any of the stuff, honestly. You know, I had like an 1,800 square foot house, 4 bedroom.
I don't come on this account much, but I'm a little over 3 months into owning my own home now. So I'm just going to give a review. So I live in a trailer and mobile home park. And you know what? I honestly think they get a lot of hate because, you know, at the end of the day, it's all I can afford as a single young person. And you know what? I have a roof over my head. I'm warm in bed at night. You know, that's all that matters. Like, here's just a small glimpse of my living.
Now, you see how, like, say, you have the people that has to do the downsizing and changing and everything in their lives just to cope with their income that you know, cope with how their income is now, and based on the prices of, you know, things, necessities and things like that. You know, you got to think Babylon, it symbolizes, like, in, you know, in times past, wealth, a wealthy, powerful empire, full of access, you know, like greed. You know, you see greed here in Babylon. Now, due to what's going on now, is by what? Because of moral corruption. And you can liken that to Babylon, ancient Babylon, which was a very powerful empire at that time. You know, it's still one of the 7 wonders of the world, going into the Hanging Garden. You know, but America is one of the most powerful countries in history, if not the most. I will say the most powerful country, because their power and their rulership is ran by Esau, and it stretches throughout the earth, not just in one spectrum of the earth, one side. It's throughout the earth. Okay? So Babylon, America, aka America fall, is symbolized, like I just mentioned, with like the wealth, power. All right. And this is where you're gonna see now that last, and what I say, that sixth that sixth stage, which is what? That decadence. All right, which is that moral and cultural decline. Okay.
Room, and like I own this whole 3-bed, 2-bath house all on my own, and between my lot rent and my mortgage, it is still less than if I were to get a 700 square foot apartment in my city. And I own this whole thing. My name's on this whole house. It's crazy. 3-bed, 2-bath. It's just me living here. Like, I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's cozy here. It's a quiet neighborhood. I don't know. I just think trailers get a lot of hate. And I personally like it, so that's all that matters.
Here's a little update on the compound.
Say you get a home on Airbnb with a chef's kitchen.
Sloppy.
Bathhouse.
Here's a little update on the compound.
If you live in your vehicle, where do you park overnight? I'll show you. So I'm here. I am staying in a Town Pump gas station. I Googled truck stop near me. And then this one came up. And so then I called them and I said, hey, do you guys allow overnight parking? And he asked me what kind of rig I'm in. I told him and he said, yeah, drive up, come to me, and then I'll show you where you can park. Every Town Pump that I've ever been to, or Flying J's or Pilots, they've always been wonderful because they have cameras and I feel really safe. And they're open 24/7. That is one place. Then I also look on ioverlander.com and then I type in the zip code of where I'm at, and then I filter it to dispersed camping, wild camping, and find free spots that way. Yeah, it's really not that hard. Some places are worse than others, but overall, it is not bad.
Americans cannot afford to live at all, okay? I just had a conversation with some co-workers, and they told me that some of their family members are actually living in their cars, right? They're living in cars to save money, right? They shower at the gym, and they just sleep in their cars to save money and all that stuff because the rent is way too high. It's like nobody can afford to live. The only people that can afford to live, that can afford food and rent, comfortably is you got to be making like near $1 million, at least $500,000. Because even people that are 6-figure earners, depending on where you live, they are struggling like crazy.
Okay, I need some pro tips for tonight. Sleeping in my car last night was freaking miserable. I had sweat just rolling. And it hadn't been that way all week long. Only thing I can think about is we had some rain and the humidity, and it's not going to be any better tonight. And if you're from the South, you know that you can't just roll down a car window, open a door to your house or window to your house. You're fixing to get eat up with mosquitoes, gnats, any kind of flying creature, or you're facing to let some snakes in.
See, and you saw the guy, he was mentioning how now you have people that make 6 figures and still they struggle. That is a lot of money, but based on the prices, okay, based on things that you have to purchase, necessities have went up. Based on necessities, your living, like I say, housing, food, getting back and forth to work. These things that you thinking that everything is fine and dandy have changed now, okay? Because the dollar is not as valued as much. The money is not what it used to be. Okay? So now, like I said, you see the morale. People are not as, the mirth is gone out of Babylon. People are not, the boost of morale is gone. The airs came out of the balloon. Okay? Like you say, but people here in America, before we see this stage of decadence is happening, thinking about in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, people were full of excessive indulgence, you know, and like pleasure, luxury. Okay. America was full of just consuming large portions of things. Look at how people consume large portions of food, drinks, you know. Shit, people can eat all type of bacon, cheese, chocolate, you know, drink all type of coffee. Now you can buy a thing of coffee and you might end up paying $11-12 for it, you know. You can drive wherever you want, get food at any time, you know. Go and try to get a meal, like the priest Tazamas mentioned last night at camp, you know. You can still go to, like, people go to McDonald's, you know, brothers, you know, not to eat that shit. But people go to McDonald's and still can get a meal for $9-10. But back in the day, you can get 99-cent value menu. I don't even know if they had that anymore, you know. Shit. Things that were 99 cents, $2 now went up to $7, $8, $9. And this is not going to change. It's constantly going to expand and get higher. That's why these people are moving from apartments and things like that, living in houses. You have a lot of people that are on social media and they show their lives where they say, this is my day, like the lady was saying, this is my day in the life of living in my car, day in the life of living in my van, you know, and they're showing you how you can make value of living in that, how you can save money living that way. You know, that's letting you know that America is going down. You know, look at it. Like I say, we're in the time of that decadent stage. Okay, that moral and cultural decline. Okay, that indulgence is you can't indulge like you used to anymore. That obsession with like technology and different things that like personal things like video games and things like that. A video game costs you $70-80. You know. Now you're seeing things that are collapsing. Movies, music, okay? Hollywood is the world's largest media and entertainment industry. And now you're saying that you're having people leaving Hollywood trying to make movies elsewhere because they said Hollywood is going down. And we see that. How people go around and shopping, especially during the time of these Babylonian, aka America holidays, July 4th, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Now one of the I think Halloween is one of the most where people shop more to get things. Like it's one of the highest earnings of people going out to get things. Now I think it's more than Christmas. You know, all these holidays are wicked, but now you don't see people out here doing that anymore. You ain't look at the Texas State Fair. They said usually it'd be around 400 million people over the course of that month where the state fair comes in October. And they said now it's been down to like 300 and something million. Like it's been down a lot. Okay. I'm sorry, Slocky. Like 4 million, I think it's down like 400,000, 300,000 people. A lot of people go to the fair, you know. So these things that we're seeing is, what is that in, let me get it. Because these times are, as it says, bad times. All right. Ephesians 5 tells you that, but I want to get, this is 2 Timothy 3, verse 2. It says, I'm going to start at verse 1. This now also that in the last days perilous times shall come. All right, this is dangerous times. For men shall be lovers of themselves, of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And we see that a lot of selfish people are walking around in Babylon, in the world. Okay, verse 3: without natural affection. All right, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Like I said, natural affection. And what is the here what Christians and things say? Love, you should love everyone. All right, it's not natural anymore. You don't supposed to love everything. All right, so you got love and you got hate. You don't supposed to love everything. You don't supposed to love the bad. But now here, everything that's bad is good. Okay, and everything that is brought to you that is good, okay, is bad. That's why this word that is being preached throughout the four corners of the earth through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is looked at as bad. You know, that's why you have these different Christian stuff to come up against the word of the Lord. You know, but we'll just keep pushing this, keep moving, because we know what's about to happen. We know the downfall. You know, that's why it says measure the time diligent in itself. And these people that we're seeing on this video, they wasn't looking at things that was about to happen at one point. And there's a lot of Americans still don't see that. They thinking things going to come back. As we read, they want to heal Babylon. We read in, Jeremiah 51. You know, because what? I'm gonna get it right here. Because they felt like things going to last forever. Always and forever. This is Isaiah 47. Hey, like I said, because perilous times are here. It's just only going to get worse. All right, you got people that getting shot not because they won't even say thank you. All right, you getting people that working at fast food jobs that's getting fired, and they coming back blasting at their managers. This is what we're seeing. Okay. This is the product of a declining society. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 7. It says, and thou said, I shall be a lady forever. And this is going into what? The virgin daughter of Babylon. When you read at the top of Isaiah 47, it says, sit down in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. You know, there is no throne. You can refer that to Revelation 17, okay? The whore that sit upon the beast. It says, verse 7, and thou said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it, okay? You didn't remember the latter end of it. You didn't know that these things was about to happen, okay? The mindset of America is the mindset as this kingdom was going to last forever. This lady was going to continue, this whore was going to continue to ride upon the beast, and they were going to ride off into the sunset. All right. Verse 8, therefore, hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures. Okay. Okay. A nation that live in luxury and pride, thinking it will never fall. Okay, I'm going to read that again, verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right. So we see that whore that's sitting upon the many waters, that little horn, as it talks about in Daniel 7, Revelation 17, that whore that sit upon many waters. All right, this is what we're seeing, that downfall. Okay, as mentioned, this is the time of decadence, the age of decadence. Like you said, that 1 through 6, the age of pioneer, age of conquest, age of commerce, age of affluence. You know, that's going about the money and wealth. The age of intellect, and now we're at the age of decadence. So repent, ye nation of Israel. If you don't, you know, be a part of that 2/3. Receive the same judgment as finna come upon Babylon the Great, aka America, and these other heathens, you know, especially Edomites. Or repent, pray to the Lord, and hope for deliverance and salvation, and become that new man and keep pushing, you know. Never give up, constantly endure, okay? I want to be a part of that number, and I know you, Akim, do want to be a part of that number when they're going to look up and see that strangeness of our salvation. So with that, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, Akawa. All right, Shalom.